Today, I'm playing on elephant rocks. Hey kids. Whew. It's a beautiful, cloudy, 70 degrees at Elephant Rocks State Park in the middle of Missouri, like an hour and a half south of St. Louis. There's these quarries around, and there's a trail around these big old granite rock deposits that have weathered away. It used to be a really big mountain. Now it's just a pile of elephant rocks. And we're gonna take a walk through this little crack, if I can fit. Sheesh. Alright, it's pretty tight, but these are some big rocks. Anyway, there's like 100 of these little crevices. These rocks are all over, strewn around for about 120 acres. So it's pretty cool. There's a definitely family-friendly environment, but I imagine a lot of people get hurt every year too. The rocks I'm leaning on are about 15 feet tall. These crevices are about 1.5 feet wide, maybe. And we're at a fork in the road. I'm not gonna go that way, I think. Looks like it just heads to certain doom, but this way looks promising. I see trees and sunlight. Okay. Wow, we made it out. All right, more rocks. The rocks are a little wet, so only so much jumping around today like a crazy wild banshee. Well, like I'm inclined to, but let's go see if we can catch a nice view. All right, that puts it into perspective for you. So there's some elephant rocks for you to climb on and gander. This is known as Mississippi red granite. It was used to build monuments and buildings all over the Midwest and the East Coast, also for paving roads. Now it's a park. The reason this area survived over time and it didn't become quarried rock is because these rounded rocks, which were eroded away, turned out to be softer and they weren't as good for building materials, so they didn't want them. So they went next door and they went down into the ground 40 feet to get that pure red Missouri granite. But back in the day, this was still an observation point, as it was one of the high points. So even back then, the miners would come up here with their tools they used during the day, come up here at night and hang out, carve their name and enjoy the view up here top Missouri. You see that big one right there? That's the biggest one. The biggest elephant. It's 27 feet tall and it's 680 tons. And you really can't get on top of it. A lot of these rocks you can climb. This is like a boulder's, rock climber's dream. It's not quite Joshua Tree, but it's nice because you're half in the trees on a nice cloudy day. There isn't too much sun and there isn't too much elevation. So it's actually really fun bouldering. If the rocks were dry, man, I'd be a little spider monkey. What's interesting as I walk around this site is the constant reminder of man versus nature. You know, these rocks here, we put those there. They're all over. All the rocks they didn't want. You know, the ones that didn't make the cut. The bad breaks, you can tell because they have these little indents here where they would drive the spikes in and separate the rocks. But according to what I was reading, they said they would only take the rocks after there was an order. So they would custom size them for each order, which meant there was a lot of wastage. So all over the walk, all over this mile loop, there's piles and piles of these wasted materials that they couldn't use. I'm at one of the two quarries at the state park. This one's been filled in by dirt, the other one's been filled in by water. It's 40 feet deep. It looks like prime cliff jumping, but I don't think they're having none of that. But here you can see they would carve just huge tiers out of the rock, and they used steam-powered cranes to assist them with the lifting. And of course, back then, railroads and horses and all that good stuff to take them to the mill, make round columns in perfect stone shapes. A strange phenomenon with these rounded rocks here at the top, especially the biggest one. A lot of them look like butt cracks. There also aren't a lot of places to put your feet and hands, so you gotta kind of work with the grade and hope your shoes stick. That's part of the fun. I imagine there's a fair bit of broken bones, and on a hot, sunny day, snakes. Those are about the only risks. Snakes and broken limbs. Other than that, just, hop about. Okay, the only way out is through this little crevice. And it's starting to rain. Hope we can make it. This is like fat man's bend here. Luckily, I'm pretty skinny. Whew. Looks like we're gonna make it out alive. You gotta bring your family here. You gotta come here with your Boy Scout troop. You gotta hang out at Elephant Rock State Park. It's pretty damn cool.